Welcome back to the Seen It All podcast. Believe it or not, this is episode 10. And that is my boy Yordi. We are back in person for another episode. This one is going to be more casual, not really a movie selection or a ranking video, but just kind of our thoughts and our opinions on what makes a good movie. And we would love for you to join us on this episode. Okay. So we all have opinions on movies, Yordi. What makes a good one? What makes a bad one? Especially when it comes to in-theater movie experience. What, I guess, when you see a movie coming out on, whether you see an ad on Instagram, you see it on social media, what's something like you see, like you get attached to in a trailer? Like, I know we have broad spectrum of interests, but like, what kind of draws your attention to what makes you want to spend money to go to the movie?
Yeah, that's a great question. And first of all, skipping over some banter, I am a man that gets excited when there's a new flavor of his Goodall's pasta, Wild Wild Pesto, and I spent the day making Caesar salad tacos for my wife and her twin sister.
Yeah.
Jacob, you're a little bit busier. I feel like something else is going on in your life.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Jacob for introducing his beautiful, wonderful daughter to the world, Charlotte. If you wanted that to be in the podcast, you can bleep it out.
No.
But it's awesome.
Yeah.
And so, if I'm talking and he can't think, he's been busy, so he's tired, man.
It's just the whole. I can't remember when we last recorded an episode, but it's just been chaos. Trying to support my wife, also trying to support the new baby, but also at the same time trying to have those normal life things, because I feel like anybody, no matter what walk of life you are, you kind of can lose yourself in stuff you are doing, the busyness of life, school, marriages, children. But at the same time, you gotta sometimes recharge the battery doing stuff you actually love. I'm not saying taking care of my child or my wife is not something I love, but just to kind of have a factory reset to be able to give the people you love 100% of your effort.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's awesome, and glad to see y'all doing well. Jacob, great dad, always walking his kid in the stroller, and it's awesome.
Only 4 days out.
4 days. He's doing great. He makes me excited and envious because he's getting this really cool experience and he's doing it really well. So
I appreciate that.
But more importantly, back to the podcast. Yeah, I think that's an excellent start, excellent prompt to the question. The trailers are kind of that root source of, what even makes you go to a movie? Like, what in a trailer makes it seem like it's great enough to go to? And there's definitely a few different avenues we can kind of investigate with this, because to me, I feel like it's not universal. There's so many different things that make so many different people want to go. There's a reason that there's Fast and the Furious 20s, and they're still keeping on going.
They're still producing.
Yeah. Driving cars into the sun and stuff. And that's cool. That's
Is that a spoiler for the
one? But, which also shout out Fast and Furious. Jacob cares about family. But
big Vin Diesel guy.
But for me, when I'm viewing trailers, I feel like my mind subconsciously, and I feel like this is not going to be groundbreaking stuff per se, but I love being like, that looks original.
Yeah.
And so that's where, like, I know Michael's going to be good, but it's a biopic, and I'm like, I kind of know the story, and so to me personally, I'm not as fond. I'm not as drawn to it. I want to be like, I've never seen that story before.
That's where I feel like they did pretty good on Elvis. Like, everybody knows Elvis's kind of quote unquote story, but I felt like with Elvis's, the trailer specifically showed a deeper.
Yeah.
I guess even though Austin Butler was the main actor, but it kind of showed they were going to dwell into maybe the backstory of how he was getting worked like a horse behind the scenes for their profit over his.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Seeing that's like originality to the story of what people knew.
Yeah.
I think that thing is so cool. I forget the movie, but you were talking about a trailer where there were dinosaurs in a neighborhood.
It's the end. It's coming out. It's the end of Oak Street. I'm sorry if that's wrong, but I thought that was a great trailer.
Yeah, you were talking about it. I didn't even see the trailer, and I was like, I'm intrigued by this.
Yeah,
it was really drawn in. I think that the power to create something, especially in a like increasingly difficult way to make stuff unique, because the more stuff is made, the less room there is for you to operate and brainstorm and make something different.
Yeah.
It's harder and harder. It's a gift, and so seeing a movie like that really clicks with me when I'm viewing a trailer. That passing it away.
I agree. I think originality is big, and as more movies come out this year, and we've got a lot of big names coming out. We've talked about the ones that are coming out and the ones that are secretly being released. I just think our society is craving for originality. That's why I think that movie At the End of Oak Street, whatever it's called, is one of the first dinosaur movies kind of outside of that classic Jurassic Park kind of
Holy
idea.
Crap, they made a terrible dinosaur.
Yeah, and this time we got to go back to the same park for where the last 7 movies have taken place, and you got to imagine something not going wrong. And with the trailers, I think, especially, we're such an instant gratification thing, and when an ad pops up on my Instagram or anything like that, if it's not a movie trailer that like catches my eye in the trailer within 5 seconds, I'm sure 85% of the viewers are just going to scroll. And that's where I thought, kind of throwing back to a previous episode, if you have not seen that episode, Weapons was really good with the trailer and how they marketed that movie, where I saw, you know, I think it was like the 2:17 a.m. like clock on some of the ads. I thought that was creepy. Or the kids running in the street, and not even like, I guess, like, to pick on that movie a little more, they didn't even show you the witch part of it.
Yeah.
That was nowhere to be guessed after you watched the trailer. And that's where I felt like the draw when it came to the theater to seeing that movie. Like, there was a part of it I was just like, whoa, okay, that was not even mentioned about in that storyline. And I think it's just trailers are struggling to be original. I thought Project Hail Mary was pretty good, even though we talked about how they had spoiled some stuff that was in the book. But if you hadn't read the book, you don't know that's essential. And I think that is a big thing with trailers. It's just trying to be original and trying to catch somebody's eye as soon as possible, because we all are guilty of just skipping or just scrolling.
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm automatic with it. When I'm scrolling, I'm like, anytime it's an ad, anyways, I'm like, flip.
Yeah.
But sometimes there are the ads where you view them and I was like, I thought this was a video.
Yeah.
Like, and I was into it. Yeah. Those kinds of things are really crazy.
Like, especially The Mummy, that new movie. I can't remember who produces it. I think that's going to be a good movie, even though I kind of get the gist from what the trailer has showed. But I think I'll probably end up still going to see that in theaters if the baby allows it.
No.
You know, obviously.
Babies love The Mummy.
Yeah, that'll be a great movie for a 4-week-old. But so, kind of after talking about the trailer, what do you think? Like, are you a big when we look at the Odyssey coming up, it is a star-studded. I mean, I feel like it has possibly 10 big name actors or musicians at Travis Scott.
Yeah, whoa.
Where's your preference on that? Do you think the more star-studded people, it's automatically going to get more audiences involved, or like viewership? Or are you kind of like, I like the 1 to 2 big name guys and then having some unknown characters that you haven't seen their previous work?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm actually built different. So I mean, I think that getting big name actors in there is really great. But I myself, I don't really mind not recognizing faces in trailers. I feel like having big actors is a big draw.
Yeah.
And if I see big actors, like if I trust their resume, I'm going to be there.
It means they put a lot of money into the movie.
They cared about the movie, but I'm not necessarily deterred. Again, if I'm like looking and seeing who's in it and I don't know these names, I almost think that if the movie's still getting like hyped up, it's got to be something really good and original. Like these fresh faces, they worked hard to make something of it for themselves.
For sure.
But that's not to say like I have trusted relationships with actors and actresses to where I'm like, if they did this movie, like they had to have thought it was a good movie to do. They had buy-in, and I trust their buy-in, and that's the same kind of thing. I think Jacob, you sent me a trailer for Resident Evil film. The director for also did Weapons and Barbarian, which I love those movies, and so I also like the Resident Evil games. So once again, I had the buy-in because of that trust there. So I do think that relationship of actors, actresses, producers, directors go a long way in making me go to a film too. I mean, Project Hail Mary, I read the book, but he had Ryan Gosling, which
big name.
I wish I was that cool.
Yeah, me too, for sure. Yeah, I think I'm kind of a mix. There's some movies like it's just I think Odyssey is going to be good, but I think there's almost too many big name actors in it for a movie that is Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
And obviously he's been known to have great casts. Obviously Interstellar and Inception, Memento, but I feel like this one has a lot more really big name actors. And obviously there could be some smaller roles, of actors upcoming, but I just feel like that they do that obviously to get the audience's draw. I wouldn't say I really have a preference because if the plot's good, the plot's good.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you kind of, if there's nobody intriguing your interest to see the trailer or to go see the movie, that's where they kind of struggle with how are you going to draw an audience in with a cast of, upcoming actors. And that's no diss towards upcoming actors, but it's just they're kind of in a tough spot until they get that main role that puts them on the spot. But it's just all these studios are putting so much money into these editing and everything else that they have to get somebody on their role or their cast to be able to show in the trailers to be like, oh, I'm definitely going to see that movie.
That's that guy. Yeah. I think it's kind of cool, I guess, now having some years under my belt of movie watching to like be like, oh, they were in that movie. Some of the like upcoming actors, and now they're big names.
Yeah.
Like I forgot they actually did that movie. I think the Odyssey and having all those actors though, I think you can. It's kind of like it's crazy, but it's like an Avengers Endgame where people are assembling for a really great movie. Like they all, they just wanted that one big show that they can be, I guess, remembered by. I don't know if that's a little too much.
No,
but it's kind of like I'm watching the last season of Dexter, the Dexter Resurrection, which was like a series finale. And there are big names in there, famous people, and you could tell that Dexter, being such like a prolific show, they cared about it enough for this like final send off to be involved and make it good. It's definitely been a great experience for that.
Yeah.
But we're in the movie theater now. Trailer hooked us. What do you think when you're watching a movie, Jacob? Like, what are some of the elements in a film to where you're like, okay, this is something?
I think like something, especially Weapons, that's a good movie. Something to keep me on the edge, but also like you got to keep me emotionally invested. I know that sounds probably cringy, but I felt like the entire time of Project Hail Mary, just kind of referring back to the latest movies I've seen in theaters, at least, and it's just you're striving for that originality. You're striving for a story that you can latch onto or some relatability, and whether that be the originality or kind of reliving your past. Like me and my wife went to go see Lilo and Stitch in theaters. That was the first ever movie I've seen when my parents took me to a theater, was Lilo and Stitch. I don't remember that obviously, but they remember that was the first movie I ever went to. They took me to, and obviously Lilo and Stitch is a top tier movie, no matter what age. And just kind of having that nostalgic of a movie can keep audiences, and especially me, involved and engaged in the movie. And I think it's just kind of you're going to the movies and you're spending this hard-earned money, and you can try so hard to be engaged. Like The Monkey, we went and saw that in theaters. it was like the plot was but it just wasn't like a real emotional push. It wasn't a real
No, there was an emotion. Yeah.
Like some horror movies, they don't have like an emotional push, and that's okay. They're not really drawn to that emotional. They're not trying to get you overwhelmed. But like The Conjuring, there's 6 of them. We're following along the Warren story. Everybody's seen infamous, pictures of their house, pictures of their, sons and daughters and stuff like that.
That dang doll.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And
Abigail or
exactly.
Annabelle.
They keep bringing these consistent characters that have played a role that are staples of their franchise, and they're staples of the Warren family, to keep that nostalgic, to keep that story, to keep that edge to the story. Where like if you're in the middle of what's the last one, The Conjuring Last Rites?
Last Rites, yeah.
Anytime they showed the Annabelle doll, anybody in that theater, anybody that watched that movie is like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Something could probably go wrong here. Or wicked. As soon as they see that doll, they automatically think of Annabelle Creation, The Conjuring.
It's kind of weird how you can be fond of Annabelle too.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, that doll's kind of sick.
Yeah, like, what up, girl?
I want to go touch the glass she's in, see if it's actually about that smoke.
Yeah, for real. What's she gonna do? Anyways,
it's just like you gotta. To me, is kind of have emotional push depending on the genre you're going to see. For me, or just something that can be inspiring. I thought Interstellar is an inspiring movie. Weapons is a kind of on your edge kind of seat. Lilo and Stitch is nostalgic, and I think also adventurous. We're all kind of in this globe, like we rarely get out of our comfort zone. I think that's why a lot of people strive towards with those murder documentaries, those things that seem so far fetched that couldn't happen. There's no way those things could happen in our life. That's why we watch them. That's what entices us. And I think that's what entices me sometimes in some of the movies I watch. And that's anybody who's watching a movie or is a fan of movies. It's like, what can get me something that could probably never happen in my life, or something that's just a break from my day to day?
That's pretty deep. Living outside of your bubble, but knowing you're not actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's real.
The closest to the edge you can get without actually doing it.
Yeah. That's actually, I mean, I think that's the great point of what a movie is pushing and giving you the freedom and your boundaries. I guess I'm going a different route when I loaded that question up. 'Cause I was gonna say I really like music and sound.
Well, I guess that's fair.
That's what draws me in, or like that's a really good element. Which also sidebar. So you were talking about Lilo and Stitch and how you're nostalgic. I wonder, parents, now that you're a parent, are you gonna be nostalgic of movies that your child watched? Like, are your parents like, oh, I love Lilo and Stitch because Jacob used to watch? Like, like, I bet that's real.
Yeah, I think it's just, I guess it's more or less to the person, more like maybe to the parent, because so much happens in the parent's life. You're like, okay, a lot of milestones are hit. But I think as the person or the child, obviously we talked about our top Disney movies, and it's just what staples are going to be passed down to our kids that are going to be, you must watch this, or you're going to watch this, and hopefully you enjoy it.
Yeah. I bet when Charlotte's a teenager, you're gonna watch Inside Out, and you're like, "Oh my God, it's real." But anyways, sidebar. But yeah, like for me, music. I think growing up, I was pretty musically inclined. I was in like jazz band. I played piano outside of school, outside of saxophone. I was in like my church's youth choir for a little bit. I've always just been like had music around me, so I think that makes me susceptible to
things
really
that
enjoying.
you notice.
Yeah. And so like there's obviously great scores and things out there like La La Land, which I'm naming the universally
don't get us
beloved
started on
ones.
La La Land.
La La Land, wonderful. I listen to Caravan from Whiplash.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I played Caravan in my jazz band in high school.
That's sick.
It was pretty cool. Like
that's
before,
awesome.
Yeah. So like I love listening to it.
Kind of have a connection.
Yeah, cool. That's really really cool. And even like talking about, it wasn't even a soundtrack, just the background cues and noise that can go on. I was talking to Jacob about Smile 2. I didn't necessarily love that movie, but the noises, it's not even music, they were just it was really good. It was really eerie, that I think I liked that movie more than I actually would have for the story. But because of how like a little chilling it was, I think that the delivery, movies, there's a visual sense to it, but you're also listening. I mean, listening's in a whole nother part of the movie for your senses. I think the better you can deliver on that audible sense, it really develops like a subconscious story and telling that can wrap someone up and get locked into it.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things where it's like, have you ever watched a movie without a soundtrack, or like watching
like a silent film? I guess.
Film, yeah. Like yuck.
I can't imagine sitting down for 45 minutes, and I guess I watch some reels like with no sound sometimes.
Yeah.
But
yeah. When you're trying to,
just space out for like 5 seconds.
Yeah. But one of my favorite things is like watching iCarly, but with no laugh track, and it's like weird. Then you're like, the show's really weird. But something about adding the laugh track, adding some sound, some noise makes it. I liked iCarly growing up, coming home 3:30 after school, turn on Nickelodeon, that kind of thing. But I think sound really shapes a lot of what a movie viewing experience is for me.
For sure. And one quick finishing discussion before we wrap up here. What do you think, just a little quick, what do you think, we've already talked about this, what the streaming services have done, or how has, I guess, the movie experience changed for you over your time of going to the movies? Like, what, obviously the price has changed, but do you think it's still like as what it was when peak Marvel, all those movies were coming out?
Yeah, no, man, that's a wonderful question, because I remember in like 3rd grade field trips to the movie theater. Like,
did you go see The Giver? Oh, our whole school went to go see that. Yeah. Like, they drove us in buses to go see The Giver.
I think we watched Frozen.
What? Like in theaters?
I think.
The school?
Yeah. Bro. We weren't about learning, bro.
That's crazy.
We were about having fun and Olaf. Yeah, no, I mean, like, but I remember, or like even like when you're like, I'm thinking about when I'm like 7 and 8, and you're having your friends over, and you're like, my mom's taking us to the movies, like that. It was such an exciting experience.
The movie carpet, the popcorn.
Oh my goodness,
the movie posters,
everything was there.
Yeah.
And I had a long time in my life where I didn't go to the movies.
And it's crazy, like
it's crazy
how like it's the exact same, quote unquote, the exact same every time you go back.
Yeah.
Even though it's like more bland, not as like themed as I used to be.
Still get excited though.
For sure.
Man, I've been loving going to movies lately in theaters. The
Yeah.
atmosphere feels a little bit private.
Yeah.
And like, I think people underestimate the value of getting out of your home.
Yeah.
Like the comfort of watching stuff. It's
Yeah.
convenient,
Mm.
but it's like lost its value. It's like to me the equivalent of like working from home. Some people love it.
Yeah.
Good job. But you know, some
That
people
human connection.
some people struggle that connection that you know, you get done with work for the day and you've been working at home, and home just feels like your office. Like it feels like you're at work.
You can never leave work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a similar property where, you know, watching films in your home, it's not really as invested because you're home.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been loving the Rise for Theater. I took a quick poll of Sam, that guy who just went to see Michael, and he and his, I keep on saying his girl because I don't know if they're married, his girl, they said the exact same thing pretty much. So they were like, we haven't been to the movie theater in a long time, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
He said it was full.
That's awesome to hear though.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I think we're just in a generation where everything, you could just watch movies of any decade on an iPad, on a screen at home. But kind of like what you were alluding to, the community-based feeling when you get in a theater and knowing you're all there to see one thing, no matter your background, no matter your religious beliefs, political beliefs, like you're all there to watch something that hopefully you enjoy. But yeah, with that, it was a good discussion about what we thought makes a good movie. Follow the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We also have a TikTok. The movie a week has been on the.
You gotta understand. You gotta understand. He has a kid.
Yeah. So please forgive us on that. We'll eventually get back on that.
We'll get on it.
Until the next episode, you've seen it all.